Good afternoon and welcome to SBAM's Small Business Briefing. I'm Sarah Miller, Vice President of Communications here at SBAM, and I am joined today by our repeat co-host, Kelly Saunders. Welcome back to the show, Kelly.
Well, hi, everybody. Kelly Saunders, Vice President of Policy and Engagement here at SBAM. It's always a pleasure to be with you in the place of our ever moving across the state CEO. And so, Sarah, I'll kick it back to you because I believe we have a new member to recognize.
Yes, we do. We want to say welcome to one of our new elite members, the SIDOT Group. They were founded in 1974 and they're a Michigan-based architecture and engineering firm. So welcome to SIDOT Group and your team. And just a little plug that every Monday we're welcoming all of our new members from the previous week on social media. So you can take a look at the full roster of new SBAM members there.
So, Sarah, we're going to jump into a conversation to start our briefing today. We have a new offering that was launched last week, and we have invited our wonderful colleague, Michelle Beebe, to join us today. So I will kick it back over to you to have a conversation with Michelle on this very exciting new product.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. We are excited to welcome Michelle Beebe back to the show today. Last week, we announced a new partnership with the National Veteran Business Development Council. And so we're now offering service disabled and veteran owned business certifications. So, Michelle, I know you were really instrumental in bringing this offering to light for our members in the small business community. So, tell us a little bit more about the certification and its benefits.
Sure. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's always a pleasure to serve our members, and I'm proud always to represent the Small Business Association of Michigan and our membership. It's such a rewarding job. So happy Monday to all of you, and thank you for keeping Michigan wonderful and great out there. And in that vein, the association has continued to look for ways in which we can bring you access to products, services, education, you name it, to support your business, not only um, support it or for you to choose to sign up for something, but to actually have some things in your back pocket, your toolbox, whatever the word is that you use, that actually leverages and gives you some opportunity as a business owner to grow. And so I've been incredibly passionate about getting this partnership off the ground. It means a lot to me. The more I learn about the struggle that a veteran business owner goes through and why they've, become a business owner, and the challenges that some of them have faced when they've come back from service is heartbreaking in a lot of ways. And it's proud, makes me really proud that the association and the National Veterans um, Business Development Council and SBAM have partnered together to bring meaningful solutions for business owners. So getting certified, what does this mean? So there is some tough criteria. You have to have had active service as a business owner, or not as a business owner, as a veteran, and to be eligible. But it really gives you some contracting opportunities. It allows for you, if you, once you've become and gone through the certification program, it connects you with supplier diversity professionals with all kinds of connections and corporate opportunities, as far as being able to take advantage of some procurement opportunities with large corporations, with the state, with the federal programs that they have available. And just, in the, it, it's so amazing to me that this certification program has allowed business owners access to about 96 billion market dollars and opportunities to participate in growth through their corporate partnership. And so not only this partnership allows that certification, but it actually allows for the business owner to get these connections and help their grow their bottom line. And it's so critical. The tougher and the more difficult it is to compete and to get a leg up, it allows for your business to get an edge, to have the certification, the qualification, and it allows for you to grow as an organization. So, I mean, if you are a veteran-owned business, you haven't taken the time to get certified, you have discounts if you do it through your membership with SBAM. And so it's cheaper. We have the connection and the partnership with the experts in this space, but it is essential for you to actually learn about what's available and how you can take advantage of this so that the next time that you are looking for maybe a new opportunity or procurement solution, and you may not even realize that depending on the type of business that you're in, that it's eligible for these things, that there are bids being, out there for janitorial services, office supplies. The list is so varied of catering, you name it. There is a procurement opportunity out there for you. And I don't want you to miss this incredible solution, but it also like validates your business in a different way, and it elevates you in a different way in order for the public to acknowledge your business as they should. And so I really, like I said, I'm super excited about this. I think that if there's anything that you can do as a veteran and you haven't done this as a business owner, I think it's one of the most essential pieces for you helping your business thrive. And so we're bringing this partnership together. You can find out about this new product on our website, and you can take advantage of all of the benefits. Sign up on our website and get started today. And we have an upcoming webinar. I think Sarah's going to tell you a little bit more about all of that. And if you are a veteran-owned business, we'd love for you to join us and learn more about the details of getting certified and the value prop that's included there. But, really important thing. And again, super proud to be partnered with such a reputable organization and to do something this important for our business community. So please join us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michelle. I did share the link so that you can learn more about this certification here on Zoom and on Facebook as well. And Michelle mentioned that webinar on November 6th. We do have representatives from the council joining us to kind of walk through the benefits of this certification. Highly encourage you to join us. Even if you don't think you can make it live, please register. You'll get the recording as soon as we're done. So again, thanks Michelle and team for bringing this to our members, and come and learn more at the November 6th webinar. All right, so Kelly, we are getting closer and closer to the election, and just a little over a couple weeks away now. You always have some good updates for us. So let's start with some news that drew some attention over the weekend in Oakland County.
Yes, it would not be a show with me on here without updating you on all the things happening. And I'm sure many of you are so over this election at this point, but we really do want to bring you the news of the day and what we're seeing happening. And so specific to Oakland County, we know that that county has trended a little bit more Dem blue in the past few election cycles. But this election has obviously been very interesting at the top of the ticket, with seeing some tightening in a very close race in the presidential side of that piece of the ticket. So there was quite a few articles over the weekend about how there are 3 specific seats in Oakland County held by Representative Tisdale, Representative Steele, and Representative Kuhn, all Republicans, and how the Democrats are really vying for those seats. They feel like they have a shot there with the 3 respective candidates that are challenging those incumbents. So there was a little, back and forth pieces on how much money is being spent in those races and the amp up of the ground game. And so it's all come to light now that, these are some of the seats to watch as we approach election day. Obviously, the Metro Detroit region is being flooded with numerous campaign ads, whether it's on TV or digital or the text messages that you're receiving every day. And so we just want to say that as Oakland County has tended to trend blue in the last couple election cycles, we are seeing a tightening there. And these 3 Republican seats are kind of hot on the ticket for Democrats to essentially take over as they look at the landscape across Michigan and the potential to lose certain seats, while Republicans are doing the same thing at trying to essentially preserve, the 54 seats that they have and gain. And so we haven't totally talked about these 3 Oakland County seats, but please make sure that you're watching those specifically if you live there. This is also another plug to make sure that you visit our website as we have made numerous endorsements in the House of Representatives over this last election cycle. All three incumbents that I just mentioned are endorsed by the Small Business Association of Michigan, PAC. And so make sure that you visit those and that you're paying attention as these continue to hit the news as three of the top races to watch.
So Kelly, there are some tight house races. How are those looking right now?
So it's no secret that both the vice president and the former president have been crisscrossing Michigan for the last couple weeks. I've heard from so many of my friends and family that say, "Can I travel on the highway today?" because they're getting stuck with motorcades going up and down certain highways. And so, really, if Republicans, I think, had their way today, they would want this election to happen now. They really have felt a trend of seeing President Trump close that gap. And we're starting to see a little bit of a red lane, but also Michigan is a toss up, and so there's no way to know which way Michigan is going to go when it comes to the top of the ticket. But at the top of the ticket, that trickles down, and so into these House seats is where we go in order to provide an assessment today. We are all three of those seats I just mentioned in Oakland County are part of that top 10 to watch. And so downriver is really the seats that people are looking at as potential, you know, Democrats losing their seats, Republicans gaining, and then a couple other spots throughout. So first one we'll start with is the 27th House District. That's where Representative Jamie Churches of Wyandotte holds that seat. She's being challenged by Riley Linting, only 22 years old. And so that seat is up for grabs. Trump tends to do very well with downriver voters. And so they are hoping to pick up that seat and upset Jamie Churches. Number two, the 109th House seat, which is up in the Upper Peninsula. Representative Jen Hill currently holds that seat. She's being challenged by weatherman Carl Bonack. And this Marquette seat has been one that Republicans have chased for a very long time, have had a hard time overturning, but they feel like they might have a potential with this very well-known commodity up in the Upper Peninsula. Number three to watch is the 83rd House District, currently held by Representative John Fitzgerald. He is being challenged by former Representative Tommy Brand, who owns Brand Steakhouses or did, and has a very stellar record over there. That seat will be hotly contested as well, one that both Democrats and Republicans are watching. And then also in the 58th House District, currently held by Representative Nate Shannon of Sterling Heights. He is being challenged by Ron Robinson. That is partly a Macomb-based seat out of Sterling Heights. Has some surrounding areas as well. Ron Robinson was plucked kind of to run for office by Candace Miller, who's a very prominent name in Macomb. Obviously held the congressional seat there for a very long time. So they are watching that one as well. 44th House District, currently held by Representative Jim Hadsma, is being challenged by Steve Frisbee, who is currently on the county commission. That is a Battle Creek-based seat. Also feeling intense pressure down there. And then also one to watch would be the 13th House District, currently held by Representative Mai Song, new to the legislature. She was ran in a special election. This is one of the seats that was redrawn with redistricting for the second time when they went through all of those challenges through the court. Ron Singer is her challenger. It's kind of hard to believe this one would flip, but because it is a redistricted map, we're not quite sure where voters will go there. So we're watching that one as well. And then lastly, one to watch is the 86th House District that we haven't talked about a ton. This is the Holland-based seat held by Representative Nancy DeBoer. She's the former mayor. And Holland has tended to trend blue over the last couple years. And so that one is one to watch as well. A couple of them that have fallen out that one specifically that Republicans were worried about was Jamie Thompson down in Macomb. And they are feeling more sure about her, even though Democrats are trying to get that seat as well. So there's back and forth on both sides, as we've been over many times before. Democrats hold a 56 to 54 majority in the House seat. I think as we approach election day, it'll still be very close. Who holds the House is really up in the air. But these are some of the seats across the state, from the Upper Peninsula to the very downriver areas and through West Michigan and Northern Michigan, that people are watching. And we are watching too. So please remember to visit our website to see who the Small Biz PAC has endorsed in this upcoming election specific to the House of Representatives.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. I'll share that, but you can just navigate to advocacy on our homepage and find the link there. So let's talk about the cash flowing through Michigan to amplify all this messaging. You cannot go to your mailbox or turn on the TV without getting some sort of ad. So what are what's the cash looking like right now?
Yeah, I think I want to approach this from more of the US House seats and the Senate seat, just because we talk a lot about the state House races. That's where we get the most involved. We don't endorse in federal races, but they're still so important to the work that we do here in Michigan. And so we'll start with essentially the Senate, where former Congressman Mike Rogers and current Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin are running against each other. I'm sure that's not a secret to you if you turn on the TV, as there are ads for both of them flowing through quite regularly. Very interesting to note, this year's races will eclipse the record 500 million spent in Michigan 4 years ago. $500 million. We were actually having a conversation about this at lunch, weren't we, Sarah? And it was like, we cannot even fathom that amount of money that is flowing through Michigan alone. So our state does currently have some of the closest U.S. House races in the country, and none seem close to equaling the nearly 30 million spent in 2018 on the 8th congressional district race. But there are still hundreds of millions of dollars that will be raised and spent in Michigan by the time we're done here on November 5th. So again, let's start with Slotkin and Rogers. This is obviously the race to replace U.S. Senate Senator Debbie Stabenow, who's retiring. And Alyssa Slotkin has raised nearly 4 times as much as Republican candidate Mike Rogers in the latest reporting period. Slotkin raised $16.7 million and Rogers $4.2 million for the period. And that brought Slotkin's total fundraising numbers to 40.7 million and Rogers to 9.5. So the cash advantage is definitely in Alyssa Slotkin's favor. So Slotkin has spent more than 21 million in the 2.5 month reporting period, compared to less than 4 million for Rogers. But the Rogers campaign has been stating that they have momentum, and when polling is happening, Alyssa Slotkin definitely is ahead, but he has been able to shrink that lead. And so there's a lot of back and forth going on in strategy, and that cash advantage that Alyssa Slotkin has over Rogers. How do you spend your money in the right places? And then the ground game, of course. These candidates are going across Michigan all the time trying to connect with voters. So Rogers has about 10 million more in outside help than Slotkin in advertising. And the seat is obviously considered very crucial to the Senate, as that's a tight margin in Washington, D.C. as well. We're going to flip over to the 7th district, which is the Lansing-based seat that Alyssa Slotkin currently holds in Congress. It's one of the nation's top U.S. House races. Republicans and Democrats have both put it on their top 10 list. Former State Senator Tom Barrett of Charlotte is making his second attempt. He ran against Alyssa Slotkin last time. And then he is running against Democrat Curtis Hertel of East Lansing. He's a former staffer of Governor Whitmer, and he raised about 2.3 million and spent roughly 3.4 million during the last reporting period. Barrett has raised about 1.4 million and spent 1.3 million in that period as well. So despite the lower fundraising total, Barrett slightly did best Hertel among small dollar donors. So a lot more grassroots money coming in for him. But Hertel had more than twice as many individual contributions. So he just has more people overall. So in total, Hertel has raised about 6.5 million and spent about 4.3 million. And Barrett has raised 1.4 million and spent 2.9 million. And then Hertel ended September with 2.2 million in the bank and 1.3 million for Barrett. And so obviously Hertel has more on hand to spend in these closing weeks. We'll flip over to the 8th Congressional District, which is Paul Young versus Senator Kristen McDonald Rivet. That is a seat that is being vacated as Congressman Kildee has decided to not run again. And this will be the first time in many, 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 many years that a Kildee has not held that seat. It has been said that that seat is trending a little bit more conservative than it has in the past. And so we'll find out this time if Republicans feel like they can really take this or not. But Young contributed about 1.9 million of his own money into this campaign. He's primarily a self-funder. State Senator Kristen McDonald Rivet has raised more than 2.9 million from her donors. And so McDonald Rivet has raised 4.7 million overall, spent about 3 million. And Paul Young raised 4.4 million, a bulk of that of his own money, 4.1 million spent. And so we'll find out what happens in that race as well, as that one is very tight too. Moving on to the 10th district, this is where Carl Marlinga is taking on the current Congressman John James. John James is of Shelby Township. Reminder that he only won that seat by 2,000 votes last time, and that's with the Dem National Committee not putting a lot of time or money into this race. They are this time. So Marlinga fundraised more in the last campaign filing period and did outspend James, who had raised more in the cycle before. But 1.6 million for Marlinga, less than $400,000 on hand. James also bested Marlinga in small dollar donors. And as a first-time incumbent, James has raised 7.8 million overall and spent 6.3 million. Marlinga has raised 2.2 million and only spent $1 million. And so while he has his own fundraising, there's been outside fundraising and campaigning that's been done on his behalf, Marlinga specifically for this race. And then we'll round out this conversation with the 3rd Congressional District. And this one is interesting. If you recall, this seat had been held by a Republican for years, going back to the times of President Ford. And that seat was lost, obviously, to the Democrats now is now held by Hillary Scholten. And so this was said to be very competitive, and that has kind of waned a little bit. There seems to be a trending of blue in the Kent County region, and Hillary Scholten has definitely leaned into her more moderate lane in running for office this time. Scholten has raised close to $1.4 million. And Paul Hudson, her challenger, has only raised about 300,000. She's been spending 2 million in this period. And he had roughly about a fifth of that amount. And so there is this general, I don't want to say concession, because anything can happen, that she kind of has this under control, but only time will tell. West Michigan has been a stronghold for Republicans for many years. And so it just depends on what happens that day. And Kent County has been, in West Michigan in general, has been changing. More people have moved to West Michigan. We see the housing crisis over there because people desire to live in West Michigan. And so what will happen? Only time will tell. All I know is I live in West Michigan and there's campaign ads everywhere for both of them. So we will see what happens on November 5th. And that, Sarah, is my report on all things politics today.
All right. Well, one final note about the election, Kelly. Tell everybody why today, October 21st, is an important day.
Yes. So obviously we encourage everyone to exercise their civic duty to vote. And so today, October 21st, is the last day for Michigan citizens to register online or by mail to vote in the state's election on November 5th. So eligible Michigan residents can register to vote online at michigan.gov/vote by mailing or scanning a completed application to their local clerk by October 21st. So today, if you need to get online and do so. To be eligible to vote in Michigan, reminder, you have to be a Michigan resident, a United States citizen, at least 17 and a half years of age, 18 by election day. Voters who already have their absentee ballots, please be encouraged to mail it today so that you do not experience postal delays, or hand deliver your ballot to the clerk. There's also drop boxes within your district that you can find if you go to michigan.gov/vote. Early voting has started in or will start in some districts soon. Reminder that statewide Saturday, October 26th, early voting has to occur through Sunday, November 3rd. Early voting starts this past Saturday, October 19th in the city of Detroit. And on Monday, October 21, today, the city of East Lansing also will start early voting. And in Canton Township. The state constitution, reminder that we changed our voting laws the last cycle. The state constitution guarantees a minimum of 9 days of early voting for every jurisdiction, and that clerks have the option to offer in-person early voting up to 29 days ahead of the election day. If you're not certain what's available wherever you live, please call your clerk. You can find that again at michigan.gov/vote in order to be informed. And then polls on election day on November 5th do open at 7 a.m. and will be open till 8 p.m. if you prefer to vote in person.
All right, thanks for that update, Kelly. Let's switch to some state policy. Kelly, you're on our advocacy team here at SBAM, and you all have been very hard at work on this new minimum wage, tip credit phase out, and the Earned Sick Time Act, sharing how that would be harmful to our membership. And last week, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist joined a one fair wage rally that has sparked some concern. So share some of your thoughts here.
Sure. So we had some calls last week. Thank you, first of all, to all of you who watched the briefing and have been engaged with our advocacy efforts and contacting your state senator, your state representative, and even the governor's office about how the new Earned Sick Time Act and the tip credit phase out and the minimum wage is going to impact your business. We need you to continue to do that. And you can visit our website. We have a resource page on this, as well as a call to action. We would encourage you to continue to make those contacts. We did receive some, concern from members that they saw the lieutenant governor was attending this one fair wage celebration, essentially, that the Supreme Court handed down these decisions. And while we don't love the optics of it, as we have stated before, we've been having substantial conversations in the Senate and in the House about making implementation changes on these specific new laws. There was some fear that with Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist going to this, that we were not heading in the right direction. Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist is entitled to attend whatever events that he wants to. I do want to note that when the governor's office was contacted about this, her team was still very clear that the legislature has to continue to collect information and make decisions, informed decisions. We have not received a note that they will not continue to talk to us about these changes. And so while sometimes there are things that are maybe blown out of proportion with the media or something doesn't look right, we are so glad that you tell us that, but please be rest assured that until we say that this is, we're moving forward as the Supreme Court handed it down, until we say that that is happening, we need to continue with our advocacy efforts, and we're going to stay the road. We are going to hope that we can work with the legislature to make some modifications. And we just wanted to put that to bed that we are still going to continue to walk the road and hopefully get some changes made on those 3 specific pieces. So feel free to contact Jacob and I at any time. Again, we're going to, we have many different ways that we're having communications, that we're reaching out to legislators. And we need to continue to do that as we approach lame duck after the election.
Yeah, Kelly, I did share the resource page on our website, which outlines kind of where we stand with everything now, including the 5 main asks that we're advocating for, especially related to ESTA. And just be rest assured that no matter what happens, we will be here as a resource for you to help you navigate this. So we'll let Kelly and Jacob do their thing with advocacy, but regardless of how things shake out, you will have a resource here at SBAM. All right, so Kelly, I think we have time for one more story. So I want to talk about childcare. You actually testified last week in front of a Senate committee. Tell us more.
Yes, so we haven't talked about childcare in a while on this program. It is a key part of our policy stances that we know that a healthy and robust childcare system helps our workforce be the best that they can be. when working parents or business owners of, parents that are business owners have a place for their kids that are safe and affordable, that makes our economy stronger. And so Senator McDonald Rivet had asked for a hearing in front of the Senate Housing and Human Services Committee and had asked the business community to come and talk about how they want to be a part of solutions, how far we've come since the pandemic, and making sure that we're finding innovative tools like through the Tri-Share program, where government, business, and the family all pay a third into support childcare, obtaining childcare for that specific family, whether it's MyLeap taking on different childcare licensing reform, and then finding grants in order to help upscale buildings and meet safety standards, providing a business support hub for 5,000 childcare centers over the last year. We were able to tell our story about how we are dedicated to working with the legislature to make sure that we are producing a childcare system that is stable and sustainable. And so we've been really proud. We stood next to our friends at the Michigan Chamber of Commerce in order to tell that story and to also shed light on, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. We know that there are childcare deserts in Michigan where families are not able to access the care that they need. And we also have to have a recognition that while pre-K for all can be good in some instances, not all families want to take that route with their children. And so making sure that we don't decimate the childcare industry by taking 4-year-olds out of daycare, but also making sure that we're doing wraparound supports for families and placing their children in the best possible place, whether it's home-based, whether it's a center, whatever that means for a family, that we're making sure that we're looking at childcare holistically and that every family is different. And so we're very thankful to Senator McDonald Rivet that she cares about where we are in this specific this topic. And we're also grateful to Senator Irwin for having us speak. He chairs that committee, and he was very gracious and kind in letting us tell that story. So look to see childcare, I think, ramp up beginning of next year. This legislature, no matter who's in charge, I think will be very interested in walking down the road of more solutions in this space. And we can't wait to be a part of that dialogue, because we have many childcare providers that are members here at SBAM that have a voice, and we want to amplify that. And we know that there are members that have families of children that need to be in the childcare system, that need to be uplifted as well as their employees. So we will continue to make this a centerpiece of our policy work. And it was a really great opportunity for us to flex in this space.
All right, well, thank you, Kelly, for testifying last week, and thank you for joining me today as a co-host. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we will be back here next Monday at 3 p.m.
Thanks for having me, everybody. Have a great week.